8 out of 10 people will meet a toxic person at some point in their lives who not only ruins their peace but also tests their strength. It's a quiet epidemic. However, it's so common that you might not see it under the surface. A lot of people are dealing with emotional manipulators who tear them down and make them doubt their own worth. Today, we dig deep into how to not only survive, but also thrive in the face of such challenges. We're going to look at the very old but incredibly useful wisdom of Stoicism. This philosophy, which is more than 2,000 years old, teaches us more than just how to survive. How do we use our inner strength like a well-tuned music pipe in the symphony of life? From building impenetrable barriers to mastering detachment, I will show you 13 powerful strategies that will give you the tools you need to make changes. How to deal with toxic people safely if you want to change the game and invest in yourself. This video is the first step to emotional empowerment. Come with me as we take back our peace. At a time, one Stoic plan. Toxic behavior is often so subtle that people mistake it for something else. For normal talk, especially when it comes from someone close to us, this is when the Stoic practice of objective observation stops being useful. Stoics like Seneca and Marcus Aurelius taught that understanding how things work in the world is important. The thoughts that accompany them can help you become wise and protect yourself. How can we start to see these terrible behaviors in our daily actions? Realizing that someone who is acting in a toxic way often criticizes others is the first step. If fake news is their main tool, you may notice that every conversation leaves you feeling down. They may not accept your accomplishments. They keep moving the goals. They want to make it impossible for you to feel successful by constantly putting you down. Another red flag is perpetual victimhood, which keeps you off balance. Toxic individuals are skilled at manipulating narratives to ensure they consistently suffer harm. By seeing themselves as the potential victim, no matter what the situation is, they want sympathy and to avoid responsibility for their actions. In Stoicism, we learn to see things as they are, taking away the layers. Of emotions and stories, this viewpoint helps us find the truth. People often show up behind the facade, and then there's the problem of crossing lines. People who are toxic don't always respect personal space or limits that they may often set. The use of your time or resources without caring about your personal obligations or well-being. Stoicism reminds us how important it is to be in charge of our own actions and decisions. We must set boundaries and let go of things we can't control, like other people's demands and intrusions. These actions, along with others, create a toxic mix that can cloud our judgment and harm our emotional health. But the first step is to become aware of these patterns. Once you know your peace, you can use Stoic principles to regain it. Not being attached or making good decisions doesn't mean you're emotionless or cold, but rather choosing not to let other people's actions rule your insides. By bringing this awareness to light and combining it with Stoic wisdom, you give yourself power, not only to be aware of toxicity, but also to choose awarely how to contact those toxicity. We can't change these people and their actions. However, our true power lies in our reactions. Realizing that someone's behavior isn't their fault is one of the hardest and most freeing parts of dealing with difficult people. Lots of the time has nothing to do with us. It's just a shape of their own inside battles. The Stoics understood worries and unsolved problems clearly. In this area of human behavior, they thought that everyone acted in a way that whatever they think and feel is right, no matter how wrong it may look to an outsider. When someone acts out or manipulates, it's easy to personalize their behavior. Of thinking, what did I do to deserve this? Conversely, we can embrace a Stoic perspective. Means realizing that people's ugly actions are usually driven by things. Because of their own problems, they project onto the outside world. For instance, an individual who is consistently critical is the subject of internal arguments. Controlling their behavior could be caused by their own fears of not being good enough or a deeper need to feel in charge because they really feel a lack of help. If we examine their actions in other aspects of their lives from this perspective, it ceases to be an attack on their persona and instead becomes a somber reflection of their true nature. This realization helps us get away from the toxicity of other people. Stoicism teaches us not to let outside events affect us, but to keep our cool, our peace of mind, by realizing that other people's actions do not show how worthwhile we are or steps we can take to keep this peace. We manage our responses. Instead of reacting quickly, we can maintain peace and gain the upper hand. This insight also demonstrates how to manage these interactions with compassion. Marcus Aurelius told us to be kind and understanding to others, even if what they do seems wrong. They know their behavior is harmful, so they don't want such a response. It might be the result of their weaknesses and not a planned attempt to hurt us. It's possible to act in a calm and collected way that doesn't make things worse. Setting boundaries means being clear about where you end and someone else begins. From a Stoic point of view, it's about knowing what's within our control. Stoicism tells us to fight for what's right, not just live with it. Having clear rules for our interactions is a clear way to achieve our peace of mind. Think about what's okay and not okay in your relationships. Most of the time, setting boundaries means saying no or laying out physical rules. It restricts your thoughts and emotions, yet it encompasses more than that. It's also about standing up for your rights, to set your needs in order of importance, define your space, and set the rules. Determining who can get to your life and energy. This could look like not answering work, calls after hours, or choosing not to talk to people that you find hurtful or too critical in the way Stoicism is practiced. We pay a lot of attention to discipline and self-control, which directly influences how we set limits. For instance, if someone consistently disrespects your time, a Stoic response would be to stay calm. However, make it clear to them what your boundaries are. It's not about confrontation. However, setting these boundaries will consistently help you stand by your principles. You're keeping yourself safe and teaching others how to interact with you. In this process, it's crucial to define acceptable and unacceptable, and then staying with it when roles are broken, instead of reacting emotionally. A Stoic response would focus on following the rules in a practical and detached way. This could mean leaving a situation or stating your boundary over and over again. In a calm way, it's important to remember that even though we can't control what happens in the outside world, our ability to set and keep boundaries gives us control over our responses. This mostly involves deciding what to do when people push your limits. This act of self-government fits with Stoic ideas because it helps us keep things fair. And think about what really matters. Make reasonable choices and find peace within. By doing this, you not only protect your mental space, but you also build a life that is less reactive and more intentional. A life where you act with respect first, and respect for each other, not on the thoughts and disregards of other people. Some Stoic philosophers, like Marcus Aurelius, talked a lot about power, how to keep your cool in times of trouble, mastering the art of not reacting. You don't have to hold back your feelings. You can choose not to let outside actions affect you. This skill is very useful when dealing with toxic people who disturb your inner peace. People who enjoy making you angry when someone criticizes you. When they manipulate or control someone, their main goal is usually to get a response that confirms their power. You break the cycle when you choose not to react. Non-reaction should not be confused with passivity. It is a choice based on strategy and an active way to protect yourself from negative emotions. Choose where to invest your energy in this person or situation. Is it worth your peace of mind? The answer is usually no. To master non-reaction in real life, you have to stop what you're doing. A Stoic would advise us to consider the source of the disturbance if it were to provoke us during this pause. Did I have anything to do with this? If not, why should I be bothered by it? This reflection gives us time to think about what happened and how we felt about it, to choose the most reasonable and least disruptive next step. This approach aligns with Stoic. On what we can control, when we stop reacting, is an important Stoic idea. We keep control of our most valuable resource in spite of every disturbance. This practice builds inner strength over time, which is beneficial for our mental health, transforming us into people who can't be easily changed by outside factors. Consider how tough it is to stay calm amid many accusations or consequences. This strength is the key to non-reaction. It's not about being cold, or it's about choosing not to fight battles that make you angry. Understanding that toxic people only have the power you give them will change how you react more and more as you do it. Not only do toxic individuals engage in this behavior, but so do you. Lose their power over you, but your stress levels may also go down. You become what the Stoics wanted, a person whose peace cannot be joined. Because it depends not on outside factors, but on choices made within. Embracing the storm can sometimes be more beneficial than trying to escape it. The least important rock on which its waves crash without working. This is what the grey rock method is all about. An approach that can work really well. How to deal with someone whose actions are harmfully looking for attention. The method is to become emotionally dull and unresponsive, like a grey rock. So the toxic person can't get the drama they need by using this method. Doesn't mean changing who you are, but how you act when you bare yourself. That could be harmful if you get in touch with a toxic person. Keep your reply so small and blank that the other person can't be happy with what they try. To get you to answer questions with simple one-word answers, or to manipulate you or passive words like, I guess, or maybe I don't know. The goal is to make the interaction as pointless as possible so that it's toxic. People will look for emotional stimulation somewhere else if this strategy doesn't work. With Stoic teachings about keeping our reactions in check and not letting outside behavior get in the way, our internal peace Stoicism does not involve emotional suppression. Rather, it's about smartly controlling one's visible emotions to maintain one's own peace. When you turn into a grey rock, you practice a form of Stoic indifference. Although toxic things are around you, you choose not to let them affect your mood. Also, this method teaches us the value of having choices in how we interact with others. Epictetus and other Stoics emphasize that not all thoughts and feelings require verbal expression. Even more so, if using the grey rock method in this way causes turmoil or stress. You can view selective engagement as a form of Stoic wisdom because you carefully choose your battles. It's crucial to understand that tranquility doesn't solely stem from quietness, but rather from strategically employing silence. In the end, the grey rock method is about keeping your energy safe. It works in real life. How Stoic resilience can help you manage tough interpersonal changes. If you can master this method, you can keep your cool without losing your cool. Interactions with toxic people can often do a lot of harm to your emotions. When dealing with persistent negativity or demands, the best response isn't always what you think it is. Is the easiest one, repeating your stance once and again. This is known. The broken record technique involves calmly setting new limits or reaffirming your place. No matter how many times you are challenged, instead of making the situation worse, this technique can work amazingly well if you are pressed to change your response. in working with harmful people who love to push boundaries or cause disasters. When you use this method, you follow the Stoic principle of stability and resilience. Stoicism teaches us to honor our beliefs and actions, no matter what outside pressures are. This consistency is not about sticking together. It's about making sure that our actions are in line with our morals and smart choices. By restating your point without changing it, you show that you're sure of your choice isn't up for negotiation. This can be very helpful in conversations. When someone is taking advantage of you or planning to make you do something wrong, you should use your better judgment if someone is pressing you to do something. It bothers you that you have to repeatedly say, "I'm not available for that," whenever the situation arises. Very easy to mistake and slowly gets in the way of the other person's resolve. To sway you, each repetition reinforces your boundary and teaches the other person what it means. Your position is firm and unlikely to be changed by stress or emotional appeals. This method is also based on the Stoic practice of keeping your emotions in check. People who are Stoic try to face life's problems with a level head and a steady heart. The broken record technique precisely prevents you from experiencing emotional exhaustion. That can happen when you write long explanations or justifications. It keeps you focused on what's most important and saves your mental energy, your quiet mind, and following your principles. Sometimes the best way to deal with toxic substances is to spend less time with them. Limiting your time with toxic people isn't about staying away from them. Choosing to spend time and energy in healthier places is key. This fits well with the Stoic practice of focusing on what helps. The Stoics believed that we should add beneficial things to our lives and stay away from things that hurt us. About how important it is to surround yourself with goodness and reason, suggesting that our environment, our personality, and peace of mind can be significantly impacted by our company. When you spend less time with people who drain your emotional energy, you're not just avoiding negativity, you are actively making your environment more positive and peaceful. In real life, this could mean deciding not to attend certain events where a toxic person is expected to be present. Alternatively, it could involve establishing digital boundaries, such as refraining from immediately responding to messages intended to provoke. Also, it might mean rearranging your social circle or work relationships in ways that make them less stressful. Your direct contact with difficult people. This strategy is about managing people over your environment as much as possible, since we can't always choose. Our work and family relationships often allow us to choose how much and how we do things. We engage with them, and limiting exposure can also be considered a strategy for maintaining mental health. Keep your mind clear of unnecessary stress and negativity. Cutting down on the number of challenging people you interact with is beneficial for more than just your mental health. By taking this proactive step, you're also avoiding future emotional turmoil. Stoic teachings say that it helps you keep an inner state of calm. Stoics value peace and argue that people need to get away from situations sometimes, or links that are struck with disagreement. A strong support system isn't just a nice-to-have, it's essential for healthy living. The Stoics knew that community was an important part of their philosophy. How important fellowship is and how strong it is to have wise and supportive companions. They believed in the idea of mutual uplift, which means that people can lean on each other for help, guidance, and insight to cultivate virtues and navigate with all of life's challenges. Building a support system means putting yourself in a beneficial position with people who understand and respect your journey and who tell you to keep your boundaries and grow as a person. This could involve having friends who understand that you need time to reflect. You may also have family members who will endorse your decisions without critiquing them. It could also include finding a community that maybe follows the Stoic principles and where people can live. Helping each other build resilience and inner peace through this support network. As a record and a mirror that shows you not only what you are but also what you can be, when being around toxic people starts to lower your self-esteem or make you doubt yourself. These trusted people can give you views that reset your sense of self. They help you remember your values and that you're not the only one going through challenging times. And others share your desire to live a meaningful and directed life. Having a supportive circle also gives you a healthier way to release your emotions by providing a place to do so, where you can talk about your troubles and frustrations without worrying about being manipulated. This is important for maintaining mental health, especially when navigating unhealthy relationships, because they prevent people from being alone, which is their purpose. By building these kinds of relationships, you become another Stoic ideal. To seek wisdom through community and discussion, just like the ancients did. Stoics got together to talk about philosophy and help each other grow as people. So too, you can benefit from a modern equivalent, whether it's through meetups in person, online forums, or simple get-togethers with friends who share your views. It's important to remember this when you're dealing with difficult relationships. What self-care means. While self-care may make you think of luxurious days at the spa, it's mainly about taking care of your health so you can deal with life's problems in a strong way. Even the Stoics put a lot of importance on taking care of oneself, but their main goal was to nurture others. They believed in the mind and soul just as much, if not more, than the body. Keeping your mind clean was important for reasonable thought and good living. In the Stoic sense, self-care means doing things that keep your mind and emotions in excellent shape. It involves setting aside time to reflect, perhaps through journaling or meditation. This kind of mental care is an area where you can handle your emotions and experiences in a safe way. Let's stop and look at your situation clearly, which helps you make decisions that are in line with your values, rather than reactions to pressures from the outside. Setting limits on your time and energy is also part of self-care. It necessitates recognizing when specific interactions exhaust your resources and releasing yourself from responsibility. It's not selfish to step back. It's good for your health and success in every area of life, whether it's refusing extra commitments or not taking them. That will either make you stressed out or make sure you have time every day to stop and do things that make you happy. Doing these things is essential for maintaining your well-being and self-care. It is equally important, and Stoics believed clear thinking was necessary. And be healthy. This could include doing resistant workouts, eating well, and getting enough sleep. Self-care activities that keep the body strong and the mind sharp. Also, it means taking the initiative to get help when you need it, whether that's professional counseling or something else. Talking to a wise friend and getting help with managing your mental health can be beneficial. Self-care is important because it shows you want to improve. And the Stoicist ideal of growth through outside help when needed. Putting self-care first helps you honor your worth and respect your dignity. You also receive the necessary tools to handle toxic relationships with grace and strength. I adhere to the Stoic principle, which states that external events should not disturb your inner peace. We have to learn that not everyone is open to change. This is one of the hardest lessons in life. This realization is very important, especially when their actions are very ingrained. When we interact with toxic individuals, their actions can potentially harm our emotional well-being. The importance of focusing on what matters is emphasized in Stoicism. We can take charge of our actions and reactions while letting go of what we can't. That includes the actions and choices of other people who follow this principle. It includes understanding that no amount of care or persuasion on your part will work. You can change people who don't want to change. This is not a reflection. This is not a reflection of your inadequacy, but rather a fundamental aspect of human autonomy that each individual must determine for themselves. They have to decide for themselves whether to change and grow or stay in the same old habits. Stoics would say that trying to change someone who doesn't want to change is not only pointless, but also harmful. Not only a waste of your valuable time and energy, but also a mistake of what you could be doing with them. You should work on improving yourself and helping people who are willing to receive it. This acknowledgement doesn't mean you stop caring about other people or stop helping them. It's about changing your goals and adjusting your expectations to get better results. Desires. It means changing your view from taking aim at other people to improving your own life and helping people with skills like patience, understanding, and strength. In this way, you honor another Stoic ideal, living in harmony with nature. This entails accepting individuals for who they are and understanding that you cannot alter everyone. It frees you from emotional stress and helps you build healthier relationships. It frees you from worrying about other people's happiness or growth and lets you set limits. It teaches you how important it is to let go of things when your involvement is doing more harm than good. To your own well-being, while you can support, share skills, or be a good example. To make a change, the individual must let go of the need to fix others. Not only eliminates stress, but it also gives you peace of mind and lets you invest more deeply in relationships with people who appreciate and reward your effort. This helps you grow and promote Stoicism. Think about what you really have the power to do. Cognitive reframing is a powerful tool for changing your perspective on an event or interaction, which changes its emotional impact. This is a very dark technique based on Stoic principles, especially the idea that things that happen to us are not what makes us sad. However, we can maintain peace by altering our perceptions and interpretations, and look for better ways to carry out problems when you're with a toxic person. As an example, it's easy to see their negativeness as an attack, but when someone reframes their behavior, they see it as a reflection of their own problems and fears. This change in perspective is important because it moves you, not a personal front. Transition from a state of vulnerability to one of comprehension and command. Understand that their actions are based on their problems, not your thoughts or feelings. In addition to reducing emotional pain, this technique improves performance. To react wisely, if you see that someone's rude words are over it, you're less likely to respond with defensiveness when they are stressed or unhappy. Instead of anger or sadness, respond with compassion or not at all. Staying at peace within you. Stoicism teaches us that we are empowered to do what we want, choose how we react, and cognitive reframing is a way to use what we've learned in real life. It frees us from automatic emotional responses and lets us use our rational mind. This makes our actions more consistent with our values and ideal self. You can also use cognitive restructuring to turn problems into opportunities. For instance, growth perceives a challenging interaction as more than just a challenging situation. However, it also provides an opportunity to practice patience and assertiveness, which not only enhances the experience. If you use cognitive restructuring to make things easier to handle and help your personal growth, in addition to dealing with toxic people better, we improve our work. We can achieve Stoicism by controlling our thoughts and feelings. This way of thinking gives us more freedom in how we deal with life's problems. With knowledge and beauty. Forgiving someone can be one of the hardest things we can do, but it can also be one of the most liberating. Particularly when dealing with harmful behaviors, this idea becomes deeply ingrained. In Stoic philosophy, it serves not only as a moral virtue, but also as a practical tool. Stoics hold the belief that forgiveness serves as the most effective means of maintaining inner peace. realize that holding on to anger and resentment keeps us stuck in the past and ruins the peace we feel now. Forgiving someone who hurt you doesn't mean you condone their actions or forget their harm. Rather, it's about letting go of the whole effect that your family of bad feelings has on you. Forgiving them is primarily an act of letting go for your own benefit. By letting go of anger and grudges, you liberate mental space previously occupied by them. The process of forgiving someone involves letting better thoughts and feelings take their place. The Stoic perspective demonstrates that individuals behave according to their level of knowledge and awareness. When someone does something bad, it's usually because they have a wrong idea, or they don't know a better way to act from this point of view. Those who wrong us are wrong about how they live, which can lead to compassion instead of constant hostility. Accepting forgiveness helps us concentrate on the things we can change about our thoughts and actions. Stoicism teaches us that we can choose despite knowing we can't change others or the past. How we understand and react to those actions when you choose to be forgiven. You are making the choice not to let someone else's behavior control your feelings. This also fits with the Stoic goal of controlling one's inner life. You can view forgiving someone as a form of self-respect because it enhances your capacity to do so. To heal and acknowledge that your peace is more important than holding on to pain is a recognition that your emotional health is very important and that you have in real life the strength to get it back. It might start with small acts of forgiveness. Make free choices. Not to react with anger or to stop ruminating. When it comes to past offenses, it often takes consistent practice and patience. When you forgive someone, no matter how small, it's a step toward a more peaceful life and stable life that respects Stoic principles by putting reasonably first whole health emotions and freedom of person. If you want to stay healthy, you need to know when to leave a toxic situation. This choice to stand firm on your values is a strong example of the Stoic belief. In self-preservation, it's crucial to choose environments that strengthen us rather than weaken us. Stress how important it is to think about what is good for our character and inner peace, which can mean getting away from things that make us feel miserable all the time, is not a sign of cowardice, but with courage and useful knowledge, it means a deep understanding what you can and cannot change in a relationship where you respect each other. Growth and change are never present. Deciding to leave is about honoring yourself enough to say no to more damage. This choice is in line with the Stoic practice. It's important to distinguish between things we can control and things we can't. While we can try to change other people's responses and actions for the better, ultimately, they are beyond our control. Walking away is also a reflection of our actions. Of the Stoic principle, that things outside of you should not be allowed to disturb our inspired peace by leaving a toxic setting. You do what you need to do to protect your mental and emotional health by making sure that these outside forces, if you want to keep your peace, you need to understand that your environment is very important. I believe in your ability to live a positive life according to Stoic virtues. Usually, a great deal of thought and consideration goes into this decision. According to Stoic thought, it involves determining whether the situation is right or wrong, what you believe, and whether your continued participation might do more harm than good. The intentional hardness of the move is evident in its calculated nature. Walking away can be the most empowering way to improve your life. It's a statement that you are empowered to shape your life and pick the relationships you have. Each step away from toxicity is another step upwards in self-respect, peace, and the kind of life you wish to live. One that is in line with what you want. I will do this with Stoic ideals of self-mastery and inner peace in mind. You show Stoicism by wanting to survive and thrive, changing the story of your life. Thank you for joining me today to discuss these Stoic strategies. When dealing with life's problems, remember that changing other people isn't the way to peace, but by mastering ourselves. If you like this and want to learn more, check out the video on the screen for more information. Thanks for taking part. Of the Stoic Guru community, be careful and keep working on your inside strength. Remember, true strength comes from within, and the Stoic Guru community is here to support you on your journey towards self-mastery. Keep practicing these strategies, and you will continue to grow in inner peace and resilience.